So, from last month, we went over Google Sheets, but we're going to go over it again because um, Google Sheets is pretty important. So, let me open it up really quick. All right, can you guys see my screen? Well, all right. Okay. So, we're gonna get started. So we're just gonna go over the whole thing one more time, and I'll go into the specifics. I'll go more in depth. Um, as I go through each slide. And then feel free to always stop me for questions and type in your question in the Q&A chat, but we'll get started. So, introduction to Google Sheets. So just I'm going to quickly go over like the basics. So, Google Sheets is a free spreadsheet tool from Google. And you can use this tool to use it to organize, edit, and store data like lists, schedules, or budgets. And it works online, so you don't need to install anything. You can just type it on your browser URL. And you can also access it from any device. So whether you're on your computer, tablet, or your phone, you can access Google Sheets anywhere. And this applies to all of Google platforms, such as Google Docs, Gmail, and everything we covered. So we're gonna start with the first step. So how to open Google Sheets. So what you're gonna do is you're going to go to sheets.google.com. So you're gonna type that in your browser, and then I'm gonna do this with you guys in a sec. So you guys can go ahead and try right now, but I'll also go over it. And you will log into your Google account. So you log in with your Google account, and then you click on blank. So if you see right here, right here, there's the blank spreadsheet. So if you click on this, then you can make your new Google Sheet. And then from here, you also you see the templates, right? So you have the travel planner, to-do list, annual budget, monthly budget, Google Finance investment, whatever. And so these are templates, and you can use them as templates for a new Google Sheet that you want to start. Um, so you can use the template as a budget, to-do list, or a calendar, whatever you want. And you can also access it from Google Drive by clicking New and then Google Sheets. So I'll show you that right now. So before we go on to the next slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to put sheets.google.com. So once you type that in, it should take you to this kind of browser. And I just want you guys to look at the top, right here, blank sheet, right? So that makes, notice how it puts you into a new Google Sheet. And here, um, yeah, you can, uh, so right here, drive.google.com. So that's Drive, Google Drive we learned in our previous ones, but notice how if you go here, you can also find the Google Sheets that we just made right here. Or this is, sorry, this is not the Google Sheet. This is the Google Slides that we just made. Let me show you guys the Google Sheets. So I'm gonna title this for now, um, Future of Rwanda. And if I go here and I search up, I reload. The first thing that pops up is Future Rwanda, or I can also search up Future of Rwanda, and it pops up as a Google Sheet. And if you click on this, it takes you to that exact same Google Sheet. So notice that it takes you to this page, which is this exact same thing. Okay. So you can also access it from Google Drive. In Google Drive, you can access a Google Doc, Google Photo, whatever is connected to your Google account. And then you can go on to the next slide. So understanding Google Sheets and understanding the screen as well. When you open up a new Google Sheet, it should take you to a sheet which is made of boxes. And you can see that when you notice it here, these are boxes, right? These are boxes. And in Google Sheet term, we call each box a cell. Okay, so each one of these boxes are a cell, and each cell is given an identity. Okay, and you can think about the identity as being, notice how it's associated with each letter per row. So there's um, just a minute. This row is called A, right? And then this column is called 1, right? So row goes vertically and column goes horizontally. And um, and when you go from columns, so right here, there's column A. When there's column A and there's row 1, we call this first cell, so we give it an identity. Notice how on the top right corner or top left corner, it shows you A1. So this is called A1. So we count each cell by the name of its row and it's by the name of its column and its row. And because the column that the first box is in is an A column and the row it's in is 1, we call that A1. Okay, so notice how that's A1. So let's say we want to go to A8. If I type in A8, and if I enter, it takes me to A8. And A8 is in within the column of A and within the row of 8. So you identify each one by the letter and the number. So let's say we go here, right here. So this one, we would name it B4, right? Because it's in column B and it's in row 4. And if you're ever confused, you can also see it on the top right here, name box. Okay. Um, you guys can type in if you guys have any questions regarding that. And I'll give you guys like a few seconds to play around with it. Um, and yeah, I'll give you guys like a minute or two. And if you guys have any questions, this is your chance to send me any questions on Q&A chat. Okay. Um, I'm guessing no questions so far. So I'm gonna go on with the lesson. So we have the column in the row that I just covered, and each cell has an address. We call that an address, like A1 or B2, like I have mentioned. And you can also use the menu bar and the toolbar at the top to format and manage your sheet. So we'll go check that out. So if right here, menu bar and toolbar at the top. All right, so this is the menu bar and the toolbar at the top. This whole row right here that you guys see, this whole thing. That's the menu bar in the top. So I'm gonna go into each one on the next slide or a few slides later. I think it's like 2 slides later, and I'm gonna explain you each of the tools that you can use within. But notice how you're given access to the menu bar and the tool. So on the top, so you guys know. Um, Okay, so entering information. So from here, it gets important. Like you're going into the usage of using Google Sheets. So you first click on any cell and start typing. Very straightforward. You just click on the cell, whether it's A1, A2, any cell within the whole thing, within the whole Google Sheets, and you just start typing. And you could type in words, numbers, or dates. And you press enter to go down or tab to go right. So let me show you guys that. So first of all, you could type in anywhere. So I'm just gonna start just for convenience. I'm just gonna start from the first one. So I'm gonna type um, a word. So I'm gonna say Rwanda. Right, that's a word. And notice how after I finished typing this, I'm going to click on enter, and it takes me to the next one, the below one. And if I want to go, if I, okay, I'm going to next type in a number. So I'm going to type in 100. And after this, let's say I want to go to my right? I want to put my next block to the right. I don't have to click it. I mean, you can always click it, but I can type on tab, and it's going to take me to the next, to the right. So remember, enter is to go down, and then tab is to go right. Okay. And then you can also always use your arrow on your keyboard to go right, left, up, or down. Okay. And then lastly, you could also type on a date. So today's date is June 20th, or for Rwanda, June 21, 2025. And you could type in a date. And notice how if since it's in a date format, like the formatting is date, when you retap it, it takes you to this calendar where it's very convenient for you to choose a date. So like I could just go here and type in a date and it changes automatically. So you get access to the Google Calendar. Um, and yeah, that's a cool function that Google Sheets has. And then you can use different rows to keep your information organized. That's pretty straightforward. And yeah. So onto the menu and the toolbar. Like I said, I'm gonna mention the formatting and styling text. So I'm just gonna take time slowly to explain each one in depth. Um, so the menu, like this search bar, um you could basically search for anything within Google Sheets. So this one's a little bit more general, so I'm going to go into in depth with that after I explain the simpler ones. So first, to start with the simplest, undo. This is undo. So let's say I want to undo something that I did within the Google Sheets, then I can click on this and it will undo. So like let's say I type in A and I want to undo it, then it gets rid of the A. And if I want to redo it, if I want to bring back the A, then I click on this arrow. Okay, so this is bring back, undo, bring back, undo. Okay. And then on keyboard, if you want to do this easily, we usually do command or control depending on which computer you use. So if you're a Windows user, you would do Control Z for for so control shift Z for bring back, and then control Z to bring back, and control shift Z to undo. So yeah, but if that was a little bit complicated, just use the arrows right here. And it also shows you what to do using the keyboard if you just put your mouse on it. So undo is control or command Z, and then redo is control or command Y. Or it can also be done control or command shift Z. That might have sounded complex. Just put your mouse on it and you can see what it does. And this one is print. So you could also do here like control P or command P. This is paint format. So if you click on it, this is not too important, but if you click on the paint format, then it like puts it in a specific format, I guess. Um, yeah. And then this one is zoom. So you can zoom into the screen how much ever you want without zooming into the whole screen. So what does that mean? If you click on your keyboard control or command plus, like notice how you see right here, you can always use this. There's like a magnifying glass at the top, and you can always zoom into your screen or zoom out to your screen, right? And this is for the whole screen. This is what I mean by whole screen. But if you want to just zoom into the Google Sheets screen, like zoom into like just zoom into this, like just zoom into that without like not showing anything else on the top, then you can use this zoom, and you can control whichever, or you could also type in the percentage. 50 being further, so notice how it's harder to see, and 200 being easier to see. So it's much more easier to see if it's 200. Let me revert it back to 100, but this is the normal. 100 is always default. Okay. And then this is the format as currency. So if I type in like 100, 10, let's say 10, then if I type, if I click on currency, then it puts it into dollar form. So 10 being not in like a dollar form, it turns it into dollar, 10, and then 0.0. So two decimal after the number. And then for percentage, if I have 10 percentage, then it has notice how it has 1000%. So it's like that's like 100% is equivalent to one, right? So one in percentage form is 100. So that's how it shows. And then from here, you could also see a going. If you do this, if you click on this button, then it decreases the decimal place. And here it increases decimal place. So decrease, increase, decrease, increase. And then here for more formats, you can have a lot more formats here that you're given. So feel free to use them. I'm not going to go into everything right now because it's a lot more, but notice how there's date here that we went over. You could also do time, you could also do date time, and you could also do duration. So feel free to use those functions. Sorry if you guys weren't able to see. And then from here, you have the font. So here, this works. I'm going to use Word for showing the font because it's a lot easier. So if you do font, right now it's an Arial. Arial is the default font. You could choose a lot more fonts that you have here. Yeah. We use Times New Roman a lot, but Arial is always default. So you can choose the font that you like based on like how you like it to appear on your page. And then font size, you can always increase the font size to make it bigger and then decrease the font size to make it smaller. You can see an A1. And then sorry, is this, I'm not sure. I think it's big enough. Okay. I hope this is big enough. And then you could also select the word and you could also bold it. So if you click on this, then you could bold. Or you could also do Control or Command B to make it thicker. So if notice how the font gets thicker when you use bold, right? And then if you do this I thing, italic, it makes the word or the character flat like towards the right. So notice how it does this, right? So notice, look at Rwanda carefully. It goes through the normal and with italic, it makes it a little bit shift to the right? That's what it does. And then this one is strike through, so it strikes through the word. And then from here, this one text color, you can click on this and choose any color here that you want. Or you could also create your own color. And then you can also fill the color. So filling color is a little bit different from the text color, but filling color like this, it fills the cell instead of the text. This is the difference. Notice how that's filler. I'm gonna have one for filler and one for color. So for one, so this is fill and this is text. I'll show you the difference. This is text. Okay. So notice that's the same color, but it's different because one is fill and one is text. Okay. And then remember, if I want to undo, then I can always click on this and then go back to normal. Right. And then borders, it basically very straightforward. It creates borders like this. So notice how the cell right now is thickened with a darker black line because I used a border. And you can use borders in like shapes, like these shapes. after you select like a few, such as however you want it. Um, but yeah, it's used a lot for organizing or categorizing things on Google Sheets. It's a very useful tool. Um, and then we have the horizontal alignment or center alignment or to the right alignment. So if you have text like this, Rwanda, and you want it to be like centered, then if you click on the center, then the text comes in the middle of the cell. Notice, like, if you look at Rwanda carefully, how it looks like normally without any arrangement. And then if you center it, then it goes to the center. And clearly, pretty sure straightforwardly, if you do it to the right, it's gonna go to the right. Okay. And then vertical alignment. So I don't know if you can notice, it's a very, very small difference. But if you look at this, if you vertically align it, and this is normal, vertically aligned, then it moves it like up a little bit and moves it back down. So that's just what vertically alignment does. It aligns the word vertically. That's just what it does. This is not like too important, so I'm just gonna skip over for now. Um, Text wrapping. I I don't know. Let me show you guys an example where we can use text wrapping. Okay. I'll bring up better example for text wrapping like a little bit later. But for now, we're gonna skip text wrapping just for a second. And text rotation, you can rotate the text like so, like so, like so. Like just look at Rwanda. It's like all over the place. So you can rotate the text anywhere how you want. And then you can also insert link. This is also very useful. If you click on insert link, then you could paste in a link. So I'm just gonna say Rwanda picture. And let's say I want to put in the link, or let's not say picture, Rwanda news. Um, So like let's just say like I wanted to put in this picture or this article, then you paste in the link here and you put text Rwanda news. And if you apply this, then it's going to give you this link where it's blue and it's underlined. And if you click on it, then it takes you to whatever that article is, right? So that's what the link does. It can be an article, it can be news, it can be picture, it can be a video link, whatever. And we can also insert comment. So this is for like suggestion basically. So you want to add a comment, but you don't want to like fully change it, then you could say like change it to Rwanda, let's just say. And if you comment, then that comment just stays there. And until you do it, it's like a to-do list basically. So comment works like a to-do list where you keep a note of what you want to do or suggest for other people to see, and then you check it after you're done. Very simple. Um, right here you have insert chart. So you can always insert a chart for Google Sheets. You can make a column chart, a line chart, and then choose the X and Y axis. So if I say like C2, um, yeah, but if you, sorry, just here. Yeah, so you could choose the format of the chart that you want it to put, and you put the value in. You set it a specific range, and you could put in the chart inside the Google Sheets. Um, and I'm just gonna skip over. This. I'm gonna quickly just go over this just for now. Um, and then create a filter. I'm just gonna skip over this for now. Oh, and then this is very important. I'm gonna go more in depth with this a little bit later, but this is just these are if you click on this, it does like the whole math for you. So if you want sum average count, like if you want sum of a few numbers or average of a few numbers, count these like numbers, you want to find the maximum or the minimum of a certain number, or you want to do any of these functions, Google Sheets has a function made for you where you just have to plug in numbers or plug in some kind of data and it's going to do for you. I'm not going to go into all of them because we do not have like time for all this, but yeah, just know that these functions exist and you can do them very easily. I'm going to talk about a little bit of math later on in the slides, but yeah, these are basically the gist of all the tools that are on Google Sheets. Right. Let's go on. And um, you can add and name sheets. So at the bottom, you can click on the button to add more sheets. So what I mean by that is um, right here in the bottom, you see right here in the bottom left corner, you have the plus sign. So if you add the plus sign, then you can add a sheet. Notice that takes you to a new sheet. Plus, 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 it takes you to a new sheet, completely new sheet. And then from here, you can also double tap. If you double click on this like sheet, you can rename it. So like first slide. Right. And then let's say you have a multiple, you could also drag them and move them. Right. So move them by the order. Yeah. Um, all right. And then inserting links and hyperlinks, I actually just went over. So I'm gonna skip this for now. Um, and then sharing the Google Sheets. So this is the same thing for Google Docs. You just click on share at the top right corner, and then you type in the person's email. So I'm going to say voice of calling. And then I put in editor or commenter or viewer. I'm going to say viewer for now. And then you send. Then this is going to send this sheet access to voice of calling. Okay. So I'm just not going to do that for now, but that's how you share. And then assign different access levels. So like I said, viewer, commenter, editor, those three are your options. And then you could also, if we go to this page, you should be able to see like a general access link in the bottom. And here you can either add, you can make, if you don't want to share that email to a specific person. So let's say I don't want, like I could share with voice of calling, right? But let's say I want anyone to have access to it when I just give them the link. Right here, general access, you click the restricted, you click on this arrow, and it takes you to restricted or anyone with the link option. And you would click on anyone with the link, copy the link, and then you click done. And then now if I share this link with anybody else, like copy and paste the link to anybody else, then now anybody who has the link can open it without me having to share it with their email. A lot more convenient. So that's what the general access does. And like I said, math on Google Sheets. So you could add numbers directly by clicking on the cell and then typing like some kind of equation. So right here, let's say I want to do, let's do addition first. So like addition, so you always equal, you always start with equal, and then 1 plus 5, enter, then you get 6. It did the math for you, right? How about equal? 1, it works the same for every math. 5 minus 1, enter 4. Right? Equal 5 times. Times is not X. We don't use X. We use asterisk, which is shift 8 on your keyboard, that star symbol. Times 5, enter 25. And then we do equals 36 divided by slash 6, enter, and it's 6. Okay, so it does the math for you, and it does a lot more complex math as well. And then what you can also do is you can use 2 cells to add. Let's say we have the value of 6 here and the value of 7 here. And right here it says in cell A3, so right here we type equals A1 plus A2. Oh, equals A1 times A2. Oh, there you go. Plus A2. Okay, so notice how right here, if we click on enter, why is doing that? So notice how it shows you right here that it's 13. So notice how you can also do math with multiple cells. Multiple cells, you can add them, subtract them, divide them, multiply them, anything you want. And then you click enter and it should show you. Okay. So I'll give you guys like 3 minutes to just type in any questions you guys might have, or you know, tell me your questions so I can answer them before I go over last week's homework together. And I'll give you guys a few minutes. To write names on alphabet, um, how to write names on alphabet? Like, how to write names on alphabet. Like here, you could just use, um, you can type in any character if that's what you're asking. Um, so yeah, you could type in any word inside a cell. I'm not sure what the question is, but I hope that's the question. Yeah, you could type in any words here. So I can type in Esther or like voice of calling, like anything, and it should work. Feel free to ask me question in the Q&A chat. All right, and let me know when you guys are good to go. All right, just let me know when you guys are ready. You guys can take your time. All right. I was thinking that we can just I can just go move on with the explaining the homework. So I think a lot of you guys might have struggled with the homework. So we're just gonna go over it together. So homework part one is to create a new Google Sheet titled Google Sheets dash your name. So we're just gonna start, we're gonna take it step by step. So I'm gonna create a new Google Sheet. So all right. This one really quick. All right, so I'm gonna create a new Google Sheet. So we learn to do that. We go here. And then we're gonna name the Google Sheet Google Sheets dash your name. Okay, so right here, and name it Google Sheets dash my name. So you should put your name. This is my name. So you put your name, enter. Okay, first step, that's done. Very simple. And then number two, sorry, write your name at the top of the document. Okay, so at the top, right here, right, Esther. Okay. And then write 1 to 2 sentences about what Google Sheet is. So here I'm gonna write in each cell. And remember, we learned I didn't cover this in this session. Sorry, I'm gonna zoom in. But what you can also do is you could also lengthen each row or column by dragging like this middle line. So if I drag it longer, then it stretches out the cell that long. So 1 to 2 sentences about Google Sheet is Google Sheet is a blah, 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 blah. So you could write whatever of what Google Sheet is in your own, whatever you think it is. Um, and then make cell. So number four, make cell with different information. And then create different pages and then solve 3 math problems within each cell. So let's do part A first. Make cell with different information. So make 5 cells. This is very simple. Make 5 cells with different information. So I'm going to use Word, like Apple. And then I'm going to put like my birthday. I'm just going to say my birthday. And then what else can we put? We could put symbols. So like hashtag, one exclamation mark at $sign. What else can we put? Just number 100, 500, and then last one, you put a decimal 1.1.5, 3.14159. That's fine. Okay. So that's number four, part A, just putting different information in 5 cells. So that that's literally all you have to do for part A, and then create different pages. So minimum 2. So we already created 1 page. What was page again? So pages are these things in the bottom. We call it sheet. Um, but this is my first sheet that it has, and it says just minimum of 2. So I'm just gonna create 2. This is second sheet. Boom. That's part B. That's done. To create different pages. That's it. And C, solve 3 math problems within each cell. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my first one. 3 math problems. So how does that look? 3 math problems. You could do. I'm gonna do addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Equals 100 plus 500. Enter 600. All right. Equals 500 divided by 100. 5. Good. Equals 100 minus 99. The answer should be 1, and it's 1. Right, so that's 3 math equations. So that's it for part C. Number 5, add numbered or bulleted list listing 2 features of Google Sheets. So add numbers or bulleted lists. I guess you can't really like do that fully, but I think the intention here was to make this like bigger, and then like make a bulleted list like that below, right? Like something like that, bullet points. Um, and then enter any link from Google anywhere in your text. So we learned that also. We learned that if you go here, all right. We learned that if you go up right here, we have the link, insert link, and you click on it and you could enter any link. So because the point of this is to insert any link from Google anywhere in your text, I'm just gonna use this Google Slides link, and I'm gonna type in that link. I'm gonna to future of Rwanda, Google Sheets slide. Enter. That's my link. I click on it. Make sure the link takes me to the right slide. It works fine. So that's it for number five. Number six, and then number seven. Insert one image related to Google Sheets. So I guess I wasn't very clear with this, which is my bad. I wanted just you guys to answer a link of the photo. So we can do that here on the picture. Copy image, or sorry, copy image address. Make sure you get the URL, the image address. And then here, link, and then text for on the picture. Oh, it says that's an invalid. Yeah, I did. Copy image address. Let me try one more time. Hi, there you go. So if I click on this link and go there, it takes me to this picture that I pasted. Right. So that's it for the first homework. Okay, very very straightforward. Some of the wording well wasn't like well written, which is my bad. Image link, but everything else should have been straightforward. And then number two, part two. The part two is also very straightforward. It's just sharing. So we go to Google Sheets, share your document with Voice of Calling USA. So I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna share, click on share, and then add people. I'm gonna put Voice of Calling USA at gmail.com. And then set it to viewer access. It says viewer access. So I'm gonna click on here and then viewer access. And then copy the link of the document, paste it to show off on Discord. So I'm gonna copy the link, send, and then I'm gonna show off. I'm gonna paste it like that. Okay. So um that's that's that will be it for the both of the homework, part one and part two. So I just did all that very quickly. But if that took you guys a while, or if you guys couldn't do it, that's fine because I had some wording issue. So that's fine. Um and then I wanted to go over something really quick other than this, where I wanted to explain a little bit more of the template. Um, okay. Um, so we're gonna do like a quick like activity, I guess. Um, and this is how it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna choose one of the template, and within the template, there are already default like settings or things that are written, and we're gonna go through each one, and we're gonna like play around with it basically. So, so I'm just gonna choose something. I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose like the most complex looking one. So I'm gonna choose this. Notice how I talked about the template earlier, right? So this is one of the templates that are given within Google Sheets. And then, so we have the template right here. And I'm going to, um, I'm just gonna like share like the skills and the tools that they're using within this Google Sheet that they made as a template, as I explain like the topics that we covered today. Okay, so this is just like basically a summary of what we did today. So um, first of all, just basics first. Right here on the top left corner, that's the name of the template, or that's the name of our new Google Sheet. Um, so that's the name. And then let's see what they did here. Okay. So what they did here overall, so notice how you can't like if you compare it with this and this, notice that you can't see the individual cells. So like individual cells like right here, if I click on them, you can see it covered in blue boxes now. But these individual cells are now covered by this template, right? And this template is what it is it's a chart. Okay, a big chart that's covering the whole thing. So when we did here, when we covered chart, we clicked on insert chart and it inserted this like big rectangle thing. And this is basically like covering the whole page. That's why you can't see the cell. Notice that if you see here, you can't see the cell either. So that's what they did here with the whole chart. And then these are pretty straightforward. You could add text. They added text. And you see this long line, this long blue line, and that's the border that we use right here. This is the border. And then right here, they added another chart within a chart. So we have a chart, and this is the tool, or sorry, the inserting that they did with the row and the column that you guys learn in Google Docs. Uh, I'm just gonna go into the specifics. So right here, notice how they put the date formatting. I'm gonna put today's date again, but June 20th, 21st, 2025. Enter, that's the date, right? So that's the date format. And then duration, you could always put the duration by using the menu bar up here. So tools, or sorry, mistake here. Format, and then you go to number, and then you could choose whichever format you wanted to put. So here, you notice that there's the duration option, and that's what they have here. And then from here, they have the percentage. Percentage we also went over, but you go to the same thing, number, and then percent format. Or you could also click on the top here, percent format as percent. And then like a few last things I want to cover here. Notice how the block colors are different, and we also went over this, but the color here is they use the fill-in color. So notice how this fill-in color they used, and we could change that to, you know, cyan, like whatever color we want to use. um I lost the color that they had, but yeah, so you could use whatever color that you want to fill in. That's what they did. Oh, and they use that fill in color effect to use all the check in all the boxes, right? So like here, it's all covered, and then they did that with different colors, and that's how they or categorize this whole template. So notice how you can use them in like very like different kind of ways. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to show you guys really quick. It wasn't like a super in-depth, detailed explanation, but hopefully that helped. Um, and yeah, basically that is it for me today. Just wanted to see that. And then I want you guys, this is it for me. So if you guys have any questions, just type it in the Q&A or just let me know and I can answer your questions. But yeah, that is it for me.